Dehanyasam, entering the body. Cha, also. Tasya, his. Evam, also. Dhiranam, of great sages. Dhairya, perseverance. Vardhanam, increasing. Anyesham, for others. Dushkarataram, very difficult to ascertain. Pashunam, of the beasts. Viklava, disturbed. Atmanam, of such a mind. Translation and purport by Jagadguru Srila Prabhupada. The Lord's glorious acts and His acceptance of various transcendental forms for the performance of extraordinary pastimes in the material world are very difficult for anyone other than His devotees to understand, and for the beasts they are simply a mental disturbance. Please repeat the translation. The Lord's glorious acts and His acceptance of various transcendental forms for the performance of extraordinary pastimes in the mortal world are very difficult for anyone other than his devotees to understand, and for the beasts they are simply a mental disturbance. Purport by Srila Prabhupada. The transcendental forms and pastimes of the Lord as described in Bhagavad Gita are difficult subject matters for those who are not devotees to understand. The Lord never reveals Himself to persons like the Jnanis and Yogis. And there are others who, because of their envying the Lord from the bottom of their hearts, are classified among the beasts. And for such envious beasts, the subject matter of the Lord's appearance and disappearance is simply a mental disturbance. As confirmed in Bhagavad Gita, the miscreants who are simply concerned with material enjoyment, who work very hard like beasts of burden, can hardly know the personality of Godhead at any stage due to asurika bhava, or a spirit of revolt against the Lord. The transcendental bodily expansions manifested by the Lord for His pastimes in the mortal world and the appearance and disappearance of such transcendental expansions are difficult subject matters, and those who are not devotees are advised not to discuss the Lord's appearance and disappearance lest they commit further offenses at the lotus feet of the Lord. The more they discuss the transcendental appearance and disappearance of the Lord in the Asuric spirit, the more they enter into the darkest region of hell, as stated in Bhagavad Gita. Anyone who is against the transcendental loving service of the Lord is more or less a beastly creature, as confirmed in this verse of Srimad Bhagavatam. Tajanti Bhaktivedanta Purport. Om Ajnana Timira Andasya Jnananjana Shalakaya Chakshuram Milvitam Yena Tasmai Shri Gurave Namaha. Nama Om Vishnu Padaya Krishna Preshtaya Bhutale Srimate Bhaktivedanta Swamin Nitinamine. Namaste Saraswate Deve Gauravani Pracharine Nirvishesha Shunyavadi Paschatya Deshatarine Jaya Shri Krishna Chaitanya Prabhu Nityananda Shri Advaita Kadadara Shrivasadi Gauravakturunda Hare Krishna 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 Hare 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 Rama 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 Hare Hare. So after discussing about Uddhava's nature as a most confidential devotee of the Lord, who could represent the Lord in the absence of the Lord, so this verse consolidates who can understand about the position of the Lord. It clearly says only devotees can understand. For anybody else, it is simply a mental disturbance. Dehanyasam cha tasyaivam Dhiranam dhairyavardhanam. So how Dehanyasam, how the Lord quit this world with His present body. Dhiranam dhairyavardhanam, and who acts various performance, Lord performs various acts and accepts various transcendental forms just for the pleasure of His devotees, to increase the faith of His devotees. Or Anyesham Dushkarataram, are very difficult for others than devotees. Anyesham, other than devotees, Dushkarataram, it is very difficult for them to understand. And those who are beasts, Pashunam, Viklavatmana. Those who are not devotees, they are considered as Pashus. And their mind is disturbed when they try to hear about the pastimes of the Lord. Because they think it is not possible. They cannot make the logic and argument out of it. They cannot fit that puzzle. They cannot solve that puzzle. So in that way, it is becoming like unconnected dots. They are not able to picturize what is being communicated. So they go crazy in trying to solve that puzzle. This is what is happening for non-devotees. But for devotees who are simple, they simply accept the principle. They do not question the authority. So in the purport Prabhupada is explaining, the more they discuss the transcendental appearance and disappearance of the Lord in the asuric spirit, the more they enter into the darkest region of hell. See, first thing we have to understand, other than devotees, whoever is there, they are all trying to compete with the Lord. The whole idea of a jiva coming into this material world is because he is trying to compete with the Lord. I want to become Krishna. Why only Krishna should receive all these center of attraction? Why I can't be the center of attraction? Because of his clear enviousness of the Lord, he has come to this material world. Now that enviousness, if I am envy of somebody and somebody else is coming and glorifying him, it is like in that fire he is putting the ghee. So, swaha, swaha, and the fire is burning more and more and more. So that is the principle. When these beasts are trying to understand about the Lord, somebody is putting on their enviousness nice ghee, butter, all these things under. So anyone who is against the transcendental loving service of the Lord is more or less a beastly creature, as Bhagavatam is confirming in this verse. Because Krishna has clearly mentioned this knowledge for those atheistic category of people, 7 chapter 15 shloka. 4 categories of people will never surrender to the Lord. Who are these 4 categories of people? Any idea? Mudaha, Dushkritina, Naradama, Mayaya Apahrita Jnana. These are the 4 people who will never surrender to the Lord. Even after explaining Bhagavad Gita, the final conclusion, Sarvadharman Parityatya, Krishna says, do not explain this subject to 4 categories of people. Those who are envious, those who are not devotees, those who have not done any tapasya. What is the 4th one? No, this is 18.67. You can open the verse. Idante na tapaskaya, na bhaktaya kadachana, nacha shushushave shantam. So 4 categories of people, again it is mentioned. For these 4 categories of people, those who are envious. So for these 4 categories of people, never teach my glories. This is a clear instruction of Krishna. Means what is happening is, they become even more against the Lord. So by doing this, what is happening? They are claiming, or they are making their way more deeper into the hell. They are going into the darkest region of hell, and Krishna says they will never be able to see the sunlight itself. Means understand what will be their situation. They will never be able to see any light in their life because of their gross offenses. The transcendental subjects are difficult to understand by the following: jnanis and yogis, those who are envious of the Lord, who are compared to beasts, and those who are simply concerned with material enjoyment. For these categories of people, these transcendental subject matters are beyond their understanding. And what is the result of speculating on the transcendental subjects? They simply create mental disturbance. They will not have peace of mind. They will be full of anxiety. They will be very restless. Next, they commit further offenses at the lotus feet of the Lord. The final result is they enter into darkest region of hell. So this is the whole perspective. So sometimes what happens, we try to understand and learn from our limitation. But whom do we associate it with is the main aspect. There was one person, a married person, an unfortunate married person. We know what is their state. So he was, one day morning he got up. He became very spiritual in his life. He sat down on the bed and he was contemplating. Some 4 questions he was contemplating. Who am I? Where did I come from? Why have I come home? And where to go? This is called as Atato Brahma Jignasa. After a few minutes, he heard his wife shouting from the kitchen, "You are lazy, number 1. I don't know from which world you have come here, only to spoil my life. You get up and go take a bath." So then he understood. All complete knowledge of all these 4 questions attained with ease and marked the completion of my spiritual journey. So what happens outside people for their spirituality means they will be brought down to material perspectives only. Because they have no perfect association. Their association is limited because whom they are associating also are not spiritually inclined people. The whole perspective of Bhagavatam is that we should associate with Bhagavatas. Only then you will be able to understand Bhagavad Gita or Bhagavatam. So, when Chaitanya Mahaprabhu had visited Jagannath Puri, we know when he went and had darshan of Lord Jagannatha, he fainted because of ecstasy. After so long days, if one had darshan of the Lord, of his most beloved Lord, the separation to meeting, the highest ecstasy was exhibited by Chaitanya Mahaprabhu. He was thinking, the Lord of my life I have seen. And he fell down. So all the people, there was a commotion and the guards came to beat him, to wake him up. There was one learned scholar by name Sarvabhauma Bhattacharya who had seen the situation, and he saw that person who has fell down was a sannyasi of very young age, and it is not some imitation or something. He saw he's a genuine person maybe. So with the help of few people and his disciples, he got him carried to his house. So in the meantime, Nityananda Prabhu and other associates, they came little late. So they were inquiring from all the local people, have you seen any sannyasi who was chanting and dancing? So they all mentioned that they saw one sannyasi went to have darshan and he fell unconscious, and Sarvabhauma Bhattacharya had shifted him to his house. In the meantime, Gopinath Acharya, who was the brother-in-law of Sarvabhauma Bhattacharya, had come there. And Gopinath Acharya is already aware of Chaitanya Mahaprabhu and Nityananda Prabhu and all the spiritual exalted people. So he is a great devotee already. So he saw them and he took them for darshan, and then he brought them to Sarvabhauma Bhattacharya's house. So Sarvabhauma Bhattacharya was seeing the body of Chaitanya Mahaprabhu, a 24-year-old young sannyasi, very attractive, very beautiful in nature. Bodily forms, everything and all were. He is like Ajanubahu. Somebody used to say, in entire Rath Yatra, if Chaitanya Mahaprabhu used to stand, everybody could see him. Means, if there are thousands of people also, they can see Chaitanya Mahaprabhu's face. Means what tall he should be. And Chaitanya Mahaprabhu was, they were trying to judge whether he is alive or not. They kept one cotton swab near his nose. Because body was not functioning, they could not feel any pulse in the body. So when they kept that cotton swab near the nose, a slight movement was there. So then they could understand, oh, he is alive. But they don't know how to revive him back. So when Nityananda Prabhu and others came, they know how to revive Lord Chaitanya Mahaprabhu back. They started Sankirtan, and Chaitanya Mahaprabhu got up, and then he became like a normal person. So after seeing all these things, Sarvabhauma Bhattacharya was little astonished. What are called as Mahabhava Prakasha, the symptoms of ecstasy, which were explained in scriptures and which he had never heard which he had never seen in reality. See, he was a theory person. He know all these symptoms existed in books. But first time he is seeing that ecstasy is manifested in the form of a person.
So he was having doubt, who is this personality? What is he so special that he is able to exhibit all these things which I have read in my books? So there was one small discussion between Gopinath Acharya and Sarvabhauma Bhattacharya. So Sarvabhauma Bhattacharya was saying he is not God. Because in Shastras there is no definition, in Kali Yuga Lord will appear. So Gopinath Acharya was trying to impress upon him. Because at that time he is a smarta sannyasi, a smarta devotee. He is very expert in tarka and jnana, logic and argument. He is an expert person. At that time he is the most proficient person available on earth on knowledge basis on jnana. Even though he is a grahastha, he is training sannyasis. Sannyasis used to come and take shelter under him and get trained. So, when our Gopinath Acharya was trying to impress upon him, there was small conversation. Why Sarvabhauma Bhattacharya is not able to understand about Chaitanya Mahaprabhu? He says, Krupa vina Ishwarera keha nahi jane. Without the mercy of the Lord, no one can know him. Anumana pramana nahe Ishwara tattva jane. By your anumana, by your hypothesis and pramana, and by your guesswork, nahe Ishwara tattva jane. One cannot understand the tattva of the Lord. Ishwarera krupalesha haya ta yahare. Even a mercy, a drop of mercy of the Lord, krupa. Saita Ishwara tattva jani bare pare. And he will be able to understand that knowledge of the Lord, and he will be able to cross over. Atapite deva padambujadvayam prasada leshanu grahita evahi janati tattvam bhagavan mahimno na chanyo eke apichiran vichinvan. This is a sloka quoted by Lord Brahma. After understanding the pastimes of the Lord, the cowhead boy stealing, so he starts offering prayers. One entire chapter was his prayers, 10.14. So in that prayers he says, O Lord, my dear Lord, Deva, atapite anugrahitaha, unless one gets a mercy from you, anugrahitaha, lesha evahi, even a small trace, lesha evahi, te padambuja dvaya prasadaha, the mercy of the dust of the lotus feet, janati tattvam bhagavan mahimno, he will be able to understand the transcendental greatness of your Lordship. Bhagavan mahimno. But na chanyo eko api, even one is able to speculate to understand, he will not be able to know. Na api. Chiram vichinvan, even though he may continue to study the Vedas for many, many years. And further he says, Yadyapi Jagadguru tumi Shastra Jnanavan. You are like a worldly master, Jagadguru. And Shastra Jnanavan, very expert in all the Shastras. Prithvite nahi pandita tomara samana. Nobody is there as a scholar on this earth equal to you. Ishwarera krupalesha nahi ka tomate. There is not even a drop of mercy upon you. Atayeva Ishwara tattva na pare janite. That's why you are not able to understand about the glories of the Lord. Tomara nahi ka dosha. This is not your fault. Shastra ye kahe. Shastra says this. Panditya adye Ishwara tattva jnana kabuna hai. Just by studying Vedas, one will never know the Supreme Lord. This is what Shastra is also saying. And he quotes a sloka further, he says, Nayam atma pravachanena labhyo na medaya na bahuna shrutena. Yam evaisha vrunite tena labhyas tasyaiva atma vivrunite tanum swam. Nayam atma pravachanena labhyo. By giving pravachana, by lecturing about the Lord, you will not be able to understand about the Lord. Just by giving explanations, na medaya, by your intelligence, na bahuna shrutena, by reading various scriptures. Yam evaisha vrunite tena labhyas. One Lord is satisfied with that person, Lord will reveal himself to him. If, however, if one is slightly favored by the mercy of the Lord is pleased, one can understand him. So, whom Lord will be pleased? Only devotees Lord will be pleased. Anybody else, the Lord is not pleased. And for the devotees also, Lord says, Swayambhu spurati adaha. That realization comes within, without separate endeavor. Like sometimes you will be having a doubt. You are in the association and you are so serious about understanding that doubt. That context, what they were discussing, will be your answer to your doubt. You will be thinking, Prabhu, I wanted to ask you, you have automatically answered me. So, Jai Shri Radha Govinda Ki. Or you are reading some book, suddenly you open one page, your doubt is answered in that page. Or you are sitting in a class and that class lecture is playing on and that lecture is answering your doubt. So, this is what that sincerity. So, in that purport only, the glorification of devotional service is explained, because it is revealed to that only to those devotees who are perfect in their devotional service. It says, Shastra says, Madhvacharya is quoting from Vedanta Sutra on a commentary, he says, Bhaktista Paramo Vishnu, Lord Vishnu dwells in devotional service. Tasya eva enam vashe nayet, and Lord can be controlled only by devotional service. Tataiva darshanam yataha, only through devotional service one can have darshan of the Lord. Pratadyan mukti metaya, one can have only by devotional service one can become liberated in this world. Snehanu bando yas tasmin bhaktiriti uchyate sava. Intense affection for Lord Vishnu or Krishna is actually called as devotional service. Bahumana purassaraha karanam param ishutuhu. This devotional service is the supreme method for achieving the darshan of the Supreme Lord. Then, Bhakte Krishna Vasha Hoya, Bhakte Tandra Bhaji, Atayeva Bhakti Krishna Praptera Upaya. Bhakte Krishna Vasha Hoya. Krishna can be fully satisfied only by devotional service. Bhakte Tandra Bhaji, he is worshipped only by devotional service. Atayeva Bhakti Krishna Praptera Upaya, and devotional service is only means for approaching the Supreme Lord. Upaya, only means. And further it says, from Padma Purana, Na dhanena samruddhena. If you have too much wealth or born in an aristocratic family, you will not have darshan of the Lord. Navai vipulaya dhiyate. If you have vast knowledge, you cannot have darshan of the Lord. Kena bhakti yogena samipe drishyate kshanat. But if you engage in devotional service, a momentary darshan you might get. Just toyam badva tu vastrena. Can a person bind water in a cloth? So just like a person trying to bind water in a cloth, krita karyam katam bhavet prapyateha vina bhakti. If one has achieved this material body and if he has not engaged in devotional service, the duty of this material body, krita karyam, is to engage in devotional service. And if you are not engaged in the devotional service, kriyateva vratashramaha, it is simply a waste of labor. Shrama eva hi kevalam. Bahubhyam sagaram tartum, by his own strength can one cross an ocean? Yadvan muko abhivanchati samsara sagaram tadvad Vishnu bhaktim vina naraha. And somebody is saying, with his strength he is going to cross this ocean of material birth and death without taking shelter of Vishnu bhakti. He is a foolish person only. He is simply making big statements. Bhambarambe lagutyaga, Prabhupada quotes this. Doing big things and not able to do. Saying big things but not able to do even one thing. So, and further, finally it quotes with Srimad Bhagavatam Uddhava Gita, he says, Dharmaha satya daya upeta vidyava tapasha anvita mad bhaktya apetam atmanam na samyak prapnati iti. Prapnati hi. By dharmaha, by religious activities, satya daya, filled with honesty and mercy, vidyava tapashanvita, or knowledge obtained by great penance, na samyak prapnati iti hi, can completely purify one's consciousness. Because mad bhaktya apetam atmanam, if they are bereft of loving service unto me. So anything to become successful, bhakti should be there in it. Or else they are all just material qualities. And Lord is never satisfied by material qualities. He is satisfied only by devotional perspective. And sometimes people will not be able to understand also what we are trying to communicate. The same wife and husband. So every day, husband has this bad habit. So after brushing his teeth, he will not close the toothpaste. That knob will be there, no? So wife used to scold him every day. Or you are not doing who has trained you? No cleanliness. All these things and that. So one particular day he thought, let me become a good boy. So from today, I'll start closing the lid. So after 7 days also, wife was not mentioning him. Okay, you have changed, you have started identifying it. He was wondering why wife is not saying him. After 7th day, the wife broke the silence by saying, you are such a bad person, from 7 days you are not even brushing your teeth. See, your own people can't understand you, what to speak of others. Those who know completely about you, they can't understand about you. What to speak of people who are not aware of you. So spiritual life is something which others may not be able to understand. Sometimes when we practice devotional service, our own parents, they can't understand us. See, because this is something which is inherent in everyone. But only thing is, because for them, that access is not given to that key. Everybody has a locker and it is full with money, that riches, diamonds, everything is there. But they don't have that key. To receive that key, we should have mercy of Guru and Krishna. Only then that key will be able to open and start utilizing the money for your further advancement. And all of us know how Lord is known as Bhakta Vatsala. Because many times when devotees perform pastimes, common people will not be able to ascertain, because they are beyond logic and argument. So one such similar story, I think recently all of our devotees had also visited when they went to Vijayawada, that Machilipattam, you have gone to Panduranga temple. So that was a self-manifested deity. There is an interesting story, how Lord had manifested there. So there was one devotee by name Narasimha, who was in a nearby province, who took birth in the year 1889, a great devotee of Lord Krishna from his childhood. But he had a troubled childhood, because when he was 9 years old, his mother passed away. At the age of 12, he had to marry and he had to maintain his family. So being an ardent devotee, he wanted to have once in, at least I wish I could have darshan of Lord Balaji, because all of Andhra people are very much attached to Balaji. So he wanted to go and have darshan. So he wanted to go to Tirupati. So on the way to Tirupati, he wanted to meet a relative at Machilipattam. So he came to Machilipattam. So when he met that relative, and he stayed there because he had to earn money for his maintenance. So he stayed there, started doing a business. After 6 years, he was able to accumulate some good money. So then he had cherished his long desire of going to Tirupati and had darshan. And he came back after having darshan. So due to being a devotee from his childhood, he always would like to associate with the devotees. And every day he used to go and hear Bhagavad Gita and Bhagavatam in their association. So by hearing, he developed natural detachment from worldly life. So he wanted to do something to elevate the common people toward devotional service. And he heard prasadam is the best way to give that mercy to the people. So he thought, let me do annadanam. Let me cook nicely, offer to the Lord and distribute that prasadam. So to make these unfortunate people to fortunate direction. So he started doing annadana, but people were very reluctant. Hardly that program was successful, and very soon he had to wind up that program. But his desire was very serious, so he had prayed to Lord Panduranga Vittala. And he had sent a letter to the Lord, inviting him, Sir, my dear Lord, please come. Not only alone, you come with your entire family, all your 16,000 pins. And see that your mercy is distributed to all the people here. So, Lord accepted his principle, and so many people started coming this time. And this time he had to pray to the Lord, please do something. So many people are coming. I can only feed to few thousands of people. My limited capacity, I am not able to provide to so many number of people. Because of your invitation, everybody started coming. Because Yasmin tushte, Jagat santushte. If Lord is satisfied, whole Jagat is satisfied. And if you are inviting the Lord, you are inviting everybody. So it became so huge thing. Lord had to personally do miracles to feed all the people who had come there. So now his faith in Lord Panduranga had increased so much, Vittala. Now his desire is next to go and have darshan of Lord Vittala. So finally, after some time, he took a break and he went to Pandharipur, had darshan of the Lord. So then there he met one devotee who was in Dhyanadev Sampradaya, Tukaram and Dhyanadev Sampradaya. And that devotee initiated him into the system of chanting, the rules and regulations, what one has to do when you accept a Diksha on behalf of Lord Vittala. So, and he also encouraged him to build a temple in your local area. So that this mercy of the Lord, and you can also encourage people to follow this bhakti process. So after this year he came back, he was contemplating, because to start a temple is not an easy thing. So next year again he went to have darshan. And he was praying to the Lord to give him some indication. So next time when going, the Lord appeared in his dream in a divine perspective and instructed him to construct a temple for him, and the Lord will self-manifest there. So he also had many more divine visions by inspiring him to start the work very soon. So this time he went to Pandharipur. He begged the permission from his guru that he wanted one stone from Chandrabhaga river, by which he will be able to use that on the cornerstone ceremony. So at that time when they went near the river, it was flowing in full flood. The river was with too much water. They will not be able to enter to find a big stone. So he immediately started praying to the Chandrabhaga river, please give your mercy. I want to start the project for the Lord. So unless you give the mercy, I will not be able to take the stone from here and start my Bhumi Puja and all. So he prayed to Chandrabhaga river. His guru was also there. Suddenly they saw a small place of land in the river getting cleared. So both his guru and he went into that place. They found one very beautiful round stone. And they also picked other small stones, and they went to the Lord. They placed the stone in front of the Lord and they were praying, please bless this stone. One flower fell on that stone. So they accepted. Lord has already sanctioned it. He took back, started doing the puja. After Bhumi Puja was done and everything was going on. So after some days, the Guru got an indication. Lord appeared in his dream and said, so and so dot, he is going to appear on the deity. So the message was communicated to Narasimha, finish the temple before the Lord is about to appear on that day. So the date was about to approaching and he was becoming more and more. He had finished the temple, so he was becoming more and more anxious. So he also built Hanuman temple, Dhyaneshwar temple and other temples also there. So the day has come and he was more ecstatic, anxiety and everything, because he was tense whether Lord will come or not, because Lord has announced he will come. So how he will come, whether somebody will carry him, how somebody will install, because it's all that confusion was happening, but he was having faith, yes, Lord will come. Because this message became like a wildfire, that everywhere that Lord is going to come and personally manifest there was a huge crowd there. And the British government, they were thinking all these things were like sometimes like to make people cheating or something like that, and they have given a strict warning that Narasimha, if the expected time, if the Lord does not appear, they are going to punish him. So they are thinking all these foolish things. How can Lord come and appear like himself? Like a magic, you make that thing appear there. And they had kept close in the temple and they had completely put police bandobast. The time has come, then he was feeling very anxiety. He went into Hanumanji and he had asked, sir, my dear sir, please give me assurance that Lord will come. So seeing his sincerity, Hanuman responded, Lord will assuredly come. If Lord doesn't come, I will go to Pandharpur and bring up the entire Pandharpur and keep it here. Then he became very happy. The time has come and he started chanting and dancing and singing, because that is the auspicious time which the Lord had said he is appear. And suddenly there was a huge sound from the altar inside. So then hearing that sound, the British in charge person said, open the temple. They are trying to open the lock, the Lord is not getting opened. Then he had a divine vision in which he saw inside Tukaram, Dhyanadev, and all the great devotees are installing the deity inside. The Lord had appeared there and all the devotees are performing that installation ceremony, and Narada Muni is singing and dancing and he is offering prayers. So after the installation ceremony is over, then Lord ordered the doors to open and the doors naturally opened themselves. There was a divine atmosphere and everybody could go and have that beautiful darshan of the Lord as he was in Pandharpur. And that deity is still manifested. This happened in the year 1929. So almost like last 90 plus years, people have been going there and having darshan of the Lord. So this is the thing. Materialistic people, government, like that British government, they could not understand that this is the Lord's Leela, that he can self-manifest. Only devotees who have that constant faith and to create all these miracles so that Lord appears in that areas to revive the people in their Krishna consciousness and attract them towards their devotional service. Through one devotee, he sets an example for people in general. So that we all learn, get connected, and give our life and surrender and go back home, back to Godhead. That was the mission of all the gurus and all the acharyas and all the Supreme Lord, to revive our consciousness and take us back home, back to Godhead. In this endeavor, so Prabhupada also had done that endeavor. So how London Ishvara had come, the entire London temple was built. And in the last moment, they were wondering, Prabhupada had small deities, they were very small, which Prabhupada used to carry. And Prabhupada said, where are deities? Have you ordered the deities? Then they remembered, oh, deities have to be ordered. And it was 1 month time or some 20 days time. 1.5 month only, very short span. The deities were, they don't know how to order. Even if you order from India, it will take time, Jaipur, to craft and come back to London. So finally, the devotees, they gave a newspaper advertisement. If anybody knew address of Radha and Krishna, please contact us. So, seeing that newspaper advertisement, one Indian person who had taken Radha Krishna deities to establish in their family temple, and because there was some problem in their transit, a small tip of Radharani's finger or Krishna's finger was broken. So the deities were not eligible for worship. So he had not installed them, he had kept them in their house. So he had contacted the devotees. So Prabhupada said, immediately go and have darshan of the deities, and the two devotees went there, and they saw the deities were very fine, 4 feet height and very nicely done. And the devotees came back and informed Prabhupada. Prabhupada said, let us go immediately. So they took one big car, 2 hefty devotees. They came with Prabhupada and they went, and that person was, initially they started introducing, you are so and so, how long you have been here. After doing all the family rituals and all, the person said, Swamiji, would you like to see the deities? No, our devotees will take care, no problem. Then he was trying to say something. Prabhupada said, can you lift the deities? Are they heavy? They are 4 feet height, actually they will be heavy, 2-3 people are required. The devotee lifted, no Prabhupada, it is very light, we can easily handle. And Prabhupada said, okay, chalo, go. That's it. The devotee started lifting the deities, brought them to the car, and Prabhupada sat in the front and they closed the doors. And that person is trying to negotiate whether he'll get some amount or not, or something like that. But Prabhupada said, thank you very much, you have given the deities. After the deity installation is done, you can come and have darshan of the deities. And they put it into the car. After going some distance, then Prabhupada stops the car. Then he asked the devotees to unwrap the cloth, and he sees the deities, and he starts, in an ecstatic way, he starts praying to the deities. And after doing that, when they are about to install, then the devotees will say that there is a small crack in the deity and they are not worthy to be installed. This is a Lord's special Leela. That's why he had made a crack that he will come to you. So that's why we will install these deities. This is the miracle of the Lord. That's why I am mentioning him as Radha London Ishvara. So in that way, these divine pastimes are there. All these things will inspire the devotees to work to engage in devotional service and make their life successful. It is not for Prabhupada's benefit. It is for our benefit we are doing, we are being given this opportunity to engage in devotional service. So I'll stop here. Any questions or doubts? ग्रंथराज श्रीमद् भागवतम की, जगत गुरु शिला प्रभुपाद की, ताई गौर प्रेमानंद.
హరే కృష్ణ గోల్డెన్ టెంపుల్ వారి మరో అపురూప కానుక హరే కృష్ణ వాణి ఆధ్యాత్మిక మాసపత్రిక. ఇప్పుడు మొబైల్ యాప్ ద్వారా కూడా సులభంగా పత్రికలు చదువుకునే సౌకర్యం, వార్షిక సభ్యత్వం, భగవద్గీత, భాగవత ప్రవచనాలు, స్ఫూర్తి సందేశాలు, ఇంకా మరెన్నో సదుపాయాలతో హరే కృష్ణ వాణి మొబైల్ యాప్ నేడే డౌన్లోడ్ చేసుకోండి. మరిన్ని వివరాల కోసం కాల్ చేయండి 9133